Travel Tidbits podcast, hosted by the agents of Pineapple Escapes. Join us as we discuss the latest in travel news, destinations, and tips for the savvy traveler. After all, travel makes life sweeter.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Travel Tidbits podcast. I'm Sharon Sproul, one of the Pineapple Escapes agents, and we are so glad that you have joined us today for Travel Tidbit number 8. When most people think of theme park in the Orlando, Florida area, their mind instantly goes to Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando Resort. And yes, where those are two of our favorite travel destinations, there is another theme park that I would like to discuss today, Seaworld Orlando. I had the pleasure of going to Seaworld over spring break this year, and when we went, we knew we probably were not going to ride any rides, as we were going with a focus on marine life education. Yes, we try to have our children learn something educational even while we're on vacation, but that's a different podcast episode. So today, I want to give you my picks for the top 5 best animal connections at Seaworld Orlando. Now, let me just stop and say, when I say connections, this does not mean that you get to touch the animals. Out of my 5, there's only 1, maybe 2 that you can touch. This is just the terminology that SeaWorld uses for their animal attractions. Now, before I get started with my top 5, let me first give you a bonus tip. For any of SeaWorld's animal shows, if you want one of the best seats in the show, plan to arrive at least 30 minutes in advance. If the park is busy that day, you may want to give yourself 45 minutes. So here are my top 5 picks, not in any type of order. I had enough trouble narrowing it down to 5. I don't think I could have put these in any specific order, but I digress. So number 1, the Orca Encounter. Yes, this is the show where guests get to see SeaWorld's killer whales. Over the years, there have been many changes to the show, and now it takes on an educational role in SeaWorld parks. Guests learn about the killer whale's role in the ocean ecosystem, and they also learn about the importance of ocean conservation. You'll want to talk to your travel agent about reserved seating for the show, and if you don't want to take advantage of that, then definitely plan to utilize the bonus tip that I gave you and get there early. Now, number 2, the Dolphin Nursery. Out of the 3 dolphin connections that you can see at Orlando's SeaWorld, this one makes the top 5. Here at the Dolphin Nursery, you get to watch mother dolphins interacting with their calves and teaching them how to jump and play and communicate. When you first enter the nursery, there's this huge glass panel for viewing, but if you have children, go around to the rock sides. They have smaller coves, each with a pane of glass where kids can sit and watch the babies. I didn't time how long we were there, but I'm pretty confident that if our kids had a drink and a box of popcorn, they could have stayed there all day. Okay, but who am I kidding? If I had a drink and a box of popcorn, I probably could have stayed there all day. So it definitely makes one of our top picks. Now, before I give you number 3 of my top 5 picks, I want to give you another bonus tip. In each of the animal shows, there are seats that say soak zone. So bonus tip number 2 is, if you don't want to get wet, don't sit in the seats that say soak zone. They don't lie. You will get wet. Of course, our family wasn't much different than most families. The kids sat in the soak zone and us adults watched from the dry seats. But we'll go ahead and move on to my next pick. So number 3, Sea Lion High, the new class. Yes, you may have already guessed it by the name, but the Sea Lion show is its own spin-off version of Saved by the Bell. You're going to join Clyde and Seymour, SeaWorld Sea Lions, as they go back to school to earn their diploma. Of course, every high school has a prankster, and at Sea Lion High, that job falls on Opie Otter. Now, I will say that the show we watched was probably more hilarious because if something could have gone wrong, it did. And by the end, we were rolling in laughter. The actors forgot their lines. There were technical difficulties in the back that caused delay of some timing. And best of all, Clyde and Seymour were just not having it. They did not want to participate in that show. Now, even though we got the most hilarious show, we were told by multiple guests who had seen it before that the normal show is one of the best in the parks, and it is quite hilarious. Now, this was the last show that we saw at the end of the day, so my sister and I decided that we were going to sit in the soak zone with the kids, and we sat row 1. We went fully committed. Now, I thought we were going to look out and not get wet, but at the end, they got us, and I do have to say it was worth every drop to see the smile on the kids' faces when they saw our reaction. Making memories is the goal after all, and this was one of the best ways to do that at SeaWorld. So, my number 4 pick, the Stingray Lagoon and Feeding. The name says it all. In this lagoon, you reach your hand down and feel just how velvety the stingrays are. Like the dolphin nursery, the kids could have stayed here all day. In fact, we visited twice. Now, you can purchase food and feed the stingrays if you like, but don't feel like you have to spend any extra money. The stingrays will glide by you, so the experience is fantastic with or without the purchase. Now, please make sure that anyone who places their hand in the water does wash their hands afterwards. There's sinks located on the backside of the lagoon for your convenience. Now, my last pick for my top 5 animal connection may not be what you had in mind when you think of marine life in SeaWorld. My 5th top pick is seeing Big Bird in Sesame Street Land. I mean, doesn't an 8-foot, 2-inch tall yellow bird fall under the animal category? Even if Bert, Ernie, Cookie Monster, and Elmo don't? Now, right now, you cannot hug and love on Big Bird, but you can stand in front of him for a great picture. Of course, there's so much more to see and do in Sesame Street Land than seeing Big Bird, and I would highly suggest, whether you have kids or not, that you visit this section. Sit and take a picture on the stoop of 123, and try not to irritate Oscar the Grouch. So those are my top 5 animal connection picks at SeaWorld Orlando. I do feel like I should add an honorable mention. When we were at SeaWorld, Antarctic Empire of the Penguin was temporarily closed. And from everything I have read and seen, this is an amazing experience and probably would have made it to my top 5 list, even though I'm not quite sure what would have been booted off. I don't know. Maybe I would have had to do like a tie for one of the numbers. I don't know. But yes, I've heard this is a great experience. So give that a try too. Now, I do want to give you one more bonus tip today. We took advantage of one of SeaWorld's animal experiences, the Dine with Orcas. This memorable dining experience is my bonus tip number 3 for you. Talk to your travel agent about this experience, where you're going to sit down, enjoy lunch, while you get to enjoy a close view of the killer whales. And you also get to learn a little bit more about their life. Now, on the menu for lunch, you'll have a house salad to start. Then you will enjoy herb roasted beef, grilled chicken, pan-seared salmon, or the vegetarian option, creamy Alfredo penne pasta. Don't worry, you don't have to choose just one. You can choose multiples. Now, for the kids, they do have your standard hot dog, chicken nuggets, and pasta. But make sure you save room for dessert. Your table will enjoy an assorted dessert tray, which was truly delectable. SeaWorld has always been known for their animal shows, but today they are so much more than that. They're home to 3 roller coasters, plus a 4th one that's anticipated to open this year. They have great events like Electric Ocean that is currently going on, Hallow Scream that takes place in September and October, and a Christmas celebration that goes from the middle of November through the 1st of January. I would highly suggest a trip to Orlando SeaWorld with your family so that you can experience some of the fun that we had for yourself. Thank you again for taking time today to listen to today's travel tidbit. You can find all of our Pineapple Escapes agents on the web at www.pineappleescapes.com And our site includes a link to all of our Travel Tidbits episodes, plus information about our agents and links for social media. We would love to have you join our community. Now, before you go, don't forget to give us that 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback on our podcast and would love to hear your ideas for future episodes. Bye!
We hope you've enjoyed today's episode of the Travel Tidbits podcast hosted by Pineapple Escapes. Travel makes life sweeter. Let the experts help you plan a vacation with lasting memories. We'd love to help you plan your next vacation and have you join our community. You can find us on the web at www.pineappleescapes.com and on Facebook and Instagram at Pineapple Escapes.